What's up, everybody? Welcome in A to Z Sports Titan Game Day Live. The pregame show is on. It is Sunday Night Football. Austin Stanley, Zach Bingham here live from A to Z Sports at Mill Creek Brewing Company in Nolensville for Titans at the LA Rams for the first time in the brand new SoFi Stadium. We're here live at Mill Creek Brewery. If you want to come watch the game with us, definitely do that here at Mill Creek Brewing Company, where we do every Titans away game, pregame, halftime, and postgame show right here from their tap room with a great food menu from the food truck inside. Also great TV setup, great space here in Nolensville. Also presented by NashvillePowerSports.com to get your custom golf court, and BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Download the BetMGM app. Use our code ATOZ Sports for a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Zach, you've been in Dallas for a week. Welcome back to Nashville. It's
Glad to be back.
Sunday Night Football for the first time and really a couple seasons for the Tennessee Titans, and they're going up against the best team in the NFC, the 7-1 Rams. The Titans come into the day as the best team in the AFC with a 6-2 record, but no Derrick Henry. This is the first time we will find out what life looks like without Derrick Henry for the next couple of months at least for the Tennessee Titans, as reports have been out there. The surgery successful on the Jones fracture. A lot of conversations have been had over the last week. Two new running backs for the Titans up against the Rams tonight, and a big opportunity for the Tennessee Titans to stay atop the AFC with a win tonight. So, Zach, it's a big game tonight on national TV without their MVP. I guess we're all going to learn what they look like without 22 together.
Yeah, it's probably not how the Titans envisioned this night going at the beginning of the season,
No
right?
kidding. Yes.
I don't think anybody thought they would be 6-2, and we definitely didn't think that Derrick Henry was going to be out with a foot injury for an extended amount of time. But here we are. You have Julio Jones returning. You have Adrian Peterson, as you mentioned, to maybe give them a spark and some juice in L.A. You've got a defense that's playing a lot better the last couple of weeks and getting big wins over big-time opponents in the AFC.
Yeah.
Bills on Monday night, win. Kansas City Chiefs, win. Then last week, an AFC division rival in Indianapolis, they get a win to get them to 6-2. Now the stars are shining bright in LA. It's showtime. You can really showcase what type of team you are to millions and millions of NFL fans against a well-respected LA Rams team, right? Once Matthew Stafford, and he's shown that this year, has done a very good job in LA. But Tennessee, they can put the brakes and halt their momentum, LA's, with a good performance tonight. It comes down to Ryan Tannehill. It comes down to defense, and it comes down to protection. They've got to protect 17 and repeat some of their good performances the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Juan says not nervous. The Titans are ready, battle-tested, confident, no quit, about to punch the Rams in the mouth from the get-go. And I think that's interesting because, look, you're right, and we've been saying this since Derrick Henry got hurt, and that came out Monday morning. The Titans did their heavy lifting on their schedule with Derrick Henry, and they won enough to set themselves up to be in a great position. The Titans are going to make the playoffs. That's basically guaranteed at this point because of the Colts situation and the division and what the Titans basically have locked up with the AFC South. Now it's all about positioning in the playoffs, and what's the chance that you can hold on to the number one seed without Derrick Henry? The Bengals lose a second straight game. The Raiders lose today. Now the Ravens do win, and they are right now next with the Titans. So if the Titans win, they're right there at number one. If the Titans lose, they drop down behind the Ravens, who are now 6-2 after they win in overtime today. So it's a big deal. And another move that was made midweek was the Rams trading for Von Miller from the Broncos, and he is inactive. So the Titans catch a break without having Von Miller playing in his Rams debut tonight. So keeping Tannehill upright is a big deal. So there's a lot we can talk about here. The Titans, I think, are in a good situation. I've been saying this for a month and a half. I wanted to see the Titans win differently without Derrick Henry having Derrick Henry Monster King games. The last 2 weeks have been that for the Tennessee Titans with Tannehill and A.J. Brown getting hot. So we'll see how it goes tonight. But a big-time game in SoFi with LA and the Titans.
Well, let's pay off our title because it is the number one thing Titans fans should look for in a Derrick Henry-less offense. Now, that's impactful because we know how much 22 means to this team, to honestly the city, the NFL, but he's not going to be here tonight. And I think you can take glass half full, and I think Titans fans should do this. This is really the time that we are going to figure out what type of quarterback Ryan Tannehill truly is. He has not gotten the credit, right? Looked over constantly. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Those are the names that come out of NFL fans' mouths first. It's never Ryan Tannehill. You got national NFL analysts putting Ryan Tannehill in the same bucket as Derek Carr. That doesn't have the respect that we, covering the team, and I think Titans fans that watch this team week in and week out over the last couple of years since 17 has taken over, have seen. Now you got 9 weeks. This is Ryan Tannehill's team. It's no longer Derrick Henry's because he will not be available. So I think this is actually a great scenario for the franchise because the offense will have to adapt. I don't know what Adrian Peterson is going to give him at 36 years old. Usually these things don't work out as well as you hope. Now, I don't know. I don't know the number of carries. I think this offense is going to have to be a lot more creative. But Ryan Tannehill, now, we always talk about Austin for years. For years, we didn't know who was going to be on that graphic on prime time.
Right.
Then they drafted Mariota. He was on the graphic. Now it's Derrick Henry. This week, it was Ryan Tannehill. It wasn't Julio Jones. It wasn't A.J. Brown. It wasn't anybody on the defense. It was Ryan Tannehill. He can truly earn what I think we've seen over the last couple of years tonight in a showcase game and over the next 9 weeks.
6 to 10 weeks.
6 to 10 weeks. I think it's going to be more like 10.
And look, I'm not Adam Schefter over here, who's just adamant about Derrick Henry being out for the season. But maybe we'll talk about Adam Schefter's vendetta against Derrick Henry.
I have an opinion on how.
I can't wait.
I've been out all week.
Yeah.
This week, there's a little tease to tune in at 8 a.m. every morning this week. I have an idea on if Derrick Henry will return and when Derrick Henry will return. It's my opinion, but I will disclose that later this week.
All right, G-Man on base on YouTube watching in SoFi. He says, I'm at SoFi for the game. Really good turnout of Titans fans. Impressed, tighten up from G-Man on base. So that's pretty cool. So we're streaming live in SoFi as well here live at Mill Creek Brewing Company. So, Zach, let's ask this question. How many touchdown passes does Ryan Tannehill need to throw tonight for the Titans to beat the Rams? How many touchdown passes does Tannehill need to throw tonight for the Titans to beat the Rams? But real quick, let me tell you guys about who puts on this pregame show. Nashville Power Sports and NashvillePowerSports.com. If you're looking for a brand new golf cart for your family to dominate the neighborhood or for your business, because who knows, your business might need golf carts, NashvillePowerSports.com is the only place to go. Locally owned and operated in the Middle Tennessee area. Their owners are very involved with their product because they care about customer service and they care about their product they put out there. They can customize anything with a golf cart, whether it's a 2-seater, 4-seater, or 6-seater. Colors. There's a Titans-themed golf cart from NashvillePowerSports.com here at Mill Creek Brewing Company. So check them out. Go see what they have to offer at NashvillePowerSports.com.
Titan Game Day Live. We're broadcasting. It's an away game. We're broadcasting live at Mill Creek Brewing Company. Look, I set myself up. I'm getting a new menu item. I had a burger yesterday because I want to try a new menu item. I'm excited about that. But we're live here from Mill Creek getting ready for prime time, baby. Under the lights of SoFi, the Titans coming in, the best two teams in prime time. You got to love that.
Yes, you do.
And the Cardinals won today, which is very strange, without DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray. So there's a caveat there. But I do think a lot of people, old Super Bowl rematch in a very weird, strange way, years later, 20 years later.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a showcase game on Sunday Night Football.
And so we'll get to the Tannehill thing because a lot of answers have come in from you guys on how many touchdown passes does Tannehill need to throw tonight for the Titans to beat the Rams. But I did think about this. If you remember in the Titans Super Bowl season, when they lost to the Rams. They played on Halloween, which is this is 1 week after Halloween. But the Rams came to Nashville undefeated with Kurt Warner, and this was pre-greatest show on turf label, right? But they were undefeated. They came to Nashville. They sacked Kurt Warner a bunch of times, beat him up, and Fred Miller had like 3 false starts at Adelphia Coliseum, and the Titans gave the Rams their first loss.
That was a big win in franchise.
That was a huge win. And so could this be something like that without Derrick Henry to really set the stage? So how many touchdown passes does Ryan Tannehill need to throw tonight for the Titans to beat the Rams? Zach, what do you think, and what are the comments saying?
Well, the comments are saying 2 to 3, and I think they're close to the correct answer, but I think they're one off.
Okay.
I think the correct answer is 4. Because if you look at the Rams offense, it is 5th in the league in scoring. It averaged the Rams and Matthew Stafford, and you got Cooper Kupp that you're going to have to deal with, which nobody has been able to handle Cooper Kupp this season. He's been living in the end zone. I think it's 4 because you're going to have to score 30 points. That's what they average.
Yes.
And Tannehill throwing the football and also running the football. Running the football in goal line situations where he has scored a lot of his touchdowns in a Titans uniform, read option. Fake with Derrick Henry because everybody crashes down. He pulls the ball, gets into the end zone. You don't have that luxury anymore, right?
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson's a different threat than Derrick Henry. I think it's 4 throwing touchdowns. I've got props. I've got props on A.J. Brown tonight. I think he'll have a big night. I got a couple sprinkled props on Julio Jones because those 2 guys are have to catch the ball, and Tannehill's going to have to throw them in the end zone. My answer is 4.
Tank Sinatra, our guy on YouTube, is saying Austin's looking at the comments, smiling, is making his pregame. Let's get it. No, I'm smiling because the tweet I just sent at Buck, because Buck said he kind of commented how fat he looked on national TV. But anyway, so I don't think it's 4 passing touchdowns. I think it's if Ryan Tannehill can account for 4 total touchdowns, I think that's fine. Because I do think Ryan Tannehill's legs on the goal line is a big difference maker and a benefit for the Titans against this Rams defense. But again, I don't think it needs to be 3 or 4 passing touchdowns. If Ryan Tannehill has 3 passing touchdowns, I think the Titans need to score 30 tonight. I think that makes a lot of sense. If the Titans want to win this game, they got to score a bunch of points. I think they need 4 or 5 touchdowns total on the board. But I think Tannehill and this, here's the thing. The Titans are not going to change who they are. Mike Vrabel said this all week long. They're still going to run the football. They're not, he literally.
But can you?
He literally said, you don't want to get into a drop back passing and throw the ball 45 times a game, especially this week, especially against Aaron Donald. Now, no Von Miller helps the Titans, but they're not going to throw the ball. If they throw the ball 45 times, it's a bad thing because the Rams are up multiple scores and the Titans are chasing. And even if Tannehill throws 4 touchdowns, I don't think that's good because you don't want to be chasing in that situation. I'm curious, Zach, to see the impact of play action pass without Derrick Henry, because all these data analysis guys and analytics guys say the production of the running game doesn't impact play action passing, where I think Derrick Henry is an outlier to that data, that Derrick Henry massively impacts the play action pass because of how he changes defenses. Does that change without Derrick Henry? Because the Titans have been so good the last 3 or 4 weeks with the play action pass because Derrick Henry has been attracting 8 guys in the box plus more.
They don't have to change. They just have to alter. And by doing some things, and this is Todd Downing, he's got to have the correct approach and strategy. I got 2 things that I expect to see tonight from the Titans offense.
Okay.
First, I think you're going to see a lot more screen passes out of the backfield to Adrian Peterson and obviously to Jeremy McNichols, because he has proven that he can get some yardage in space. So yes. I expect
McNichols is second on the team in receptions so far.
Right. I expect a lot more of that, and that is how you alter the offense. The second thing that I expect tonight, and guys look for it, I expect a trick play. I expect a wide receiver to throw a pass, a running back to throw a pass, a
Safety to throw a pass,
a double reverse, a pass to an offensive lineman. Mike Vrabel and this offense, we've seen it before, but those are the type of things that you have to steal points. Stealing points, trick plays, defensive touchdowns, sack, scoop and scores. That is how you're going to have to get to 30 points because the Rams, they're going to get to 30. The statistics prove that.
All right, A to Z Sports here live from Mill Creek Brewing Company, the NashvillePowersports.com pregame show. So, Zach, Luke and I had a conversation on Thursday of one thing the Titans and the Rams have in common that the Titans can take advantage of. And what that was is that the Rams and Titans this season have been slow starters. In games, they've been slow starting. The Titans, we know, have been really bad on their opening possession. And the Rams, over the last 4 games, Zach, only have 13 first-quarter points. And the opponents the last 4 games with just 13 first-quarter points are the Seahawks. They're not a great team. The Giants, the Lions, and the Texans. Really bad stretch of 4 opponents there with only putting up 13 points in the first quarter. So can the Titans take advantage of that and the Rams being slow starters because they have the ultimate curveball of nobody knowing what the Titans are going to do? I find that intriguing, and I asked Luke this question on Thursday. What's the first play from scrimmage from the Titans offense? Because normally you expect it to either be Derrick Henry left or play action left, roll out Tannehill, towards the middle of the field to AJ. Those are the 2 options for the first play from scrimmage from the Titans with Derrick Henry. I don't know what it's going to be right now. No idea.
Yeah, I was just going through my mind. It's a good question. I would probably predict 2 things. A slant, play action slant to A.J. Brown, because that's their favorite play to get A.J. Brown in space. But Jalen Ramsey's going to be somewhere on the field. I don't know if he's going to be covering Julio or if he's going to shadow A.J. Brown, who has been more of a threat this season. Or I would expect some sort of screen, like a bubble screen. Now, it hasn't always worked, but you've got to get A.J. Brown involved early because I feel like he's a momentum type guy.
Yeah.
Once he starts to feel confident and comfortable, he becomes even more of a threat against defenses. So I would either say a slant to A.J. or a screen pass to a wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I'm curious, is it play action?
I don't think it's run right to Adrian Peterson, but I don't know.
That's the point of this, is I think the Titans have the benefit of they've been practicing all week. They are ready to go. They've got their script. They know that the Rams don't know what's going to happen. So how can you be extra creative and catch the Rams off guard a little unbalanced and really put some points on the board? Because if you put some points on the board, now you're ahead of Matthew Stafford, who's been great with this offense. And I think that helps you overall, right? Obviously.
The one thing, I think the biggest thing of concern, in my opinion, and you mentioned it a little bit at the beginning of this pregame show, a lot of teams struggle blocking Aaron Donald. I'm concerned about that.
Yes, Nate Davis is out, too.
I feel like 99 is going to be an issue.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so up front, they got to be really tight to be able to block Aaron Donald. He's the best in the league. He's strong as an ox. He moves weight for a living. And you've got to protect Ryan Tannehill and not put him in bad spots, because if you get sacked on first or second down, you're not going to move the sticks.
Yeah, and I also don't know who the starting right guard's going to be. It's either Aaron Brewer or Dylan Radins. And Dylan Radins got Ryan Tannehill smacked hard to end that regulation against the Colts last week by missing a block. Aaron Brewer just got back from injured reserve, but Nate Davis is out with the concussion that happened last week against the Colts. Also, Kendall Lamb is out, so you're thin on the offensive line regardless, going up against Aaron Donald. And luckily, Von Miller's not out there tonight.
You know who helps against Aaron Donald? Honestly, it's quick tight ends, right? Getting the ball to Ferkser or Pruitt or Swaim that doesn't allow the rush to progress, right?
Yes.
So look for that. Tight end play is very important, I think, in this offense, because it takes some pressure away from Tannehill to not have Julio and AJ have to develop those routes downfield. Eventually they will, but maybe some tight end, quick 3 to 4 yard hitch routes. They're not going to break a lot of tackles, but they can gain an increment amount of yards.
You just cannot get into the third and passing, right? You can't third 7 or longer. You're screwed against this team, and you got to do better on the early downs to avoid those situations. All right, Zach, we're 10 minutes away from kickoff here live from Mill Creek Brewing Company. Let's get to our next conversation because we've talked a lot about Ryan Tannehill, the passing game, Julio Jones. Can he play 4 quarters? What's his impact? Now let's talk about who is actually replacing Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry averages around 27 to 30 touches a game. Where are those snaps going? Who is getting that production without 22? So here's the next question. Who will lead the Titans in rush attempts without Derrick Henry? Is it future Hall of Famer, new signee Adrian Peterson? Is it got Jeremy McNichols, who's been here the entire season? Or is it Deontay Foreman off the couch as well, who was with the Titans last year for a stretch? Who will lead the Titans in rushing attempts versus the Rams without Henry? Is it AP, AD, McNichols, or Deontay Foreman?
So I think it's a good question because you have to distribute those carries some way, some form or fashion. I think it has to be Adrian Peterson, though. You have to find out what you signed. 36, Adrian Peterson is a Hall of Fame running back. There's no denying that. But
he's not actively a Hall of Fame level player.
I ain't as good as I once was, right? But I'm good once as I've ever been at times.
All right, Toby. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Maybe this is his time. He was not good with New Orleans after his career with Minnesota. He jumped around, but he was okay with Detroit.
Yes, but he was averaging like 10 to 12 carries a game the last couple of years with Detroit and Washington.
He's not going to get 20.
Well,
here's
get 15. I find this interesting because I'll just open my BetMGM app, and there is 0 rushing attempts props for the Tennessee Titans. 0. I can see if there's rushing yards, but only Henderson Jr. from the Rams has a rushing attempts prop. Rushing yards, Adrian Peterson's total is 34.5.
I have that over. I've already bet it. I get $55.
You've bet it over?
I got $55 on Adrian Peterson's over.
34.5.
Right.
And that's it. There's no McNichols.
The man can get 34.5 yards.
I watched him at practice on Thursday.
But
what the Titans were doing, which is smart, is they were giving Adrian Peterson extra contact and Foreman extra contact during individual period by bringing over a few defensive players and kind of dapping them up, getting the pads popping a little bit to get Peterson and Foreman used to taking hits again because they haven't carried the ball in 10 months. I think this is Deontay Foreman. I think Deontay Foreman leads the Titans in rushing attempts tonight.
There's a curveball. I like Foreman.
Again,
last year I liked Foreman. When he guy from Texas.
Yes, 3rd round pick from the Texans.
He runs hard, and he can get the edge. And what Foreman does very well is he turns up field once he gets the corner, and he's had success. We've seen spurts of it, right? Not the consistency, and that's why he was just added to the roster. I don't think it's going to be Foreman, though. I think you're going to be wrong. I would bet against that. I think Adrian Peterson leads this team in carries.
But in games last season when Derrick Henry was active, Foreman had 5 carries, 7 carries, 1 carry, 4 carries. In a stretch of 5 games for the Titans, he racked up 22 carries with Henry there, right? So they went with Foreman as their second running back when it came to carries last season when Henry was out there. McNichols was still your 3rd down guy through that stretch, but McNichols is Foreman is the most similar in running style to Derrick Henry right now. Straight line guy, one cut go, 6'1", 230 plus. Again, nobody's Derrick Henry, but Foreman fits more of that style and brand more than what we think Adrian Peterson might be right now.
Well, speaking of carries, we talked a lot about carries. Carrie Underwood's right there on the screen as we are getting very close to kickoff. And this Titans do not get a lot of Sunday night football games.
No, they don't.
The Bears and the Cowboys live in this time slot, right? Because of market size. The Rams and Tampa because of Tom Brady. Those guys those teams are being showcased regularly. This is the opportunity without Derrick Henry to kind of teach the NFL world about this team. You don't want to get blown out. You don't want to get run out of LA.
No.
You want to have a good performance and control the line of scrimmage and control the time of possession. Where Tennessee does very well, and they did this well against the Chiefs, controlled the ball. And with a high-octane offense like the Los Angeles Rams have with Stafford and all of their weapons, you've got to continue drives and have long time-consuming drives. I'm talking 8-9 play drives that can eat up 7 minutes. That is what will help you in the long run.
And it's all about, like we talked about earlier, staying ahead of the sticks, not getting in third and long, where Aaron Donald can pin his ears back and get after your quarterback. Less than 5 minutes from kickoff here on A to Z Sports, NashvillePowersports.com pregame show from Mill Creek Brewing Company. Prediction time. Let's get it. Who wins this game? Titans or Rams? The Rams, Zach, now at BetMGM, 7-point favorites. It was 7.5 right before the pregame show started, but now down to 7, so maybe a little money coming in on the Titans. So who wins this game? Rams favored by 7 right now. Brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app. Use our code ATOZ Sports. Once you do that, once you use the code after you download it, you put your first deposit in, and your first bet is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older, must be present in Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Zach, what are the comments saying?
We do have a lot of Titans hope.
I've got mine ready.
I know where you're going, and you haven't told me anything, which I'm not going to be surprised about that. But I'm not surprised also about the comments, because a lot of Titans fans do have hope. I think it's going to be a tough road, because if you can't run the football, you have to pass the football. Julio Jones helps.
He does. Oh, I'm glad you reminded me. I was going to look at what Julio's prop was tonight.
I do have a anytime score prop for Julio Jones, I hope.
47.5. Let's do that. I've had a bad day. I need some help.
Go back to the well. So best of luck there. I think this is a tough game. Look, I will speak for you, Austin. We look at the Tennessee Titans from a different perspective. It is not from an all fan consuming perspective. Vegas also is pretty dang good when it comes to spreads. And when you come to 7.5, now the Bills got pushed around today and the Jags won, which is wild. The Jets beat the Bengals last week.
Yeah.
The Cowboys got blown out by a Broncos team that hasn't really beaten anybody good.
The Browns blew out the Bengals after a week of turmoil.
I just don't see this tonight.
You ready for my pick?
Yeah, you can go ahead and go first.
I've got it ready. 34-27 Rams.
Okay. So what, you going?
That's 7.
Push.
Yeah, I was going to do that. I've had this all day. I've just been sitting on 34-27. It sounds right. It feels right. You know, at 7.5, I was taking the Titans to cover. But it's moved since the pregame show has began. So that's where I'm at the push. I didn't mean to push, but pushing happens sometimes.
So I think, and I'm kind of like Two-Face. I'm flipping a coin, because I think one of two things is going to happen. I think the Rams are either going to win by 17 points and blow the Titans out.
Yeah.
Or the Titans get into a close game and they win on a game-winning field goal. Those are my two scenarios on my gut on what I think happens. The smart answer based on Vegas is a blowout win by the Rams.
So you're taking Rams -7?
And
I know we've both had bad days.
Right. Yeah, we have. Or the Titans win in a close game. I have to get off the fence and actually pick one. I'm unfortunately going to go with a big-time Rams win.
Oh.
I'm going to go 29-17. I think that's kind of
29. How do you do that? Tell me how you get to 29.
Field goals, 2-point conversions. You can figure out, get 29-17 Rams. I think this is a bad loss for the Titans, because maybe
29-17 sounds like a scoregami.
Hey,
do we see a scoregami on Sunday Night Football?
Possibly. That's my prediction, though. I don't think this is going to go well. Maybe Adrian Peterson. Look, you can hate me in the comments. That's fine.
Oh, you're a clown. You're a dummy. Yuck.
That's
I know.
It's perfectly okay. But we don't do these shows to just please Titans fans and give them what they want. We do this for real analysis and feeling based on what we know about the team. What I know about the Rams, they're damn good. The Titans are in a interesting spot without the best running back in the league. In the world. In planet Earth. I don't know what other planets play American football.
Derrick Henry's from somewhere outside of that.
Yeah, right? But that's my prediction. I think this is either going to be a blowout Rams win or a very close game-winning field goal Titans win. I'm going to go with the Rams.
You're going 29-17.
29-17.
Thank you, MB. 5 field goals and 2 touchdowns for the Rams. So you think the Titans defense is going to hold the Rams to 5 field goals tonight?
Yeah, look, 2-point conversions. Who knows? If it's a scoregami, I got 29-17.
All right, we'll see you guys at halftime. Enjoy the first half live here from Mill Creek Brewing Company. You still come hang out with us here. Great food out of this food truck here at Mill Creek. We'll see you guys at halftime. Thanks again to all of our sponsors, NashvillePowersports.com. If you want a brand new golf cart to dominate your neighborhood or for your business, that's the only place to go. NashvillePowersports.com and BetMGM. I'm locked and loaded with Julio over 47.5 yards tonight. So we'll see you guys at half. Thanks for watching.